So now I'm going to teach you how to set a few things. First, starting with, we've already talked about here. This is how you select the chart you're going to look at. AUD, USD, this is what we're going to focus on. These are the different brokers you can select. I also want you to go over here on the right side, and I want you to add in a symbol, right? So you can type in AUD, USD. Right here, you'll see Australian dollar versus US dollar. I want you to click on it. It'll just add it right here. You can left click and just drag it to the top. So this is kind of like a shortcut. You can add different currency pairs or whatever you want. Right now, we're going to focus on AUD, USD. But in the future, when you're learning different pairs, for example, USD CAD is another chart. We can click on that. It'll add USD CAD. I already have it here. You can left click and hold and just drag it to the top. And then here you can just quickly, you can switch to a different chart. See how now it says US dollar versus the Canadian dollar? That's just a quick way to change in between different currency pairs. So in the future, when you start learning about other currency pairs, you can just quickly type in and save it here. This is called the watch list. It just, right now, I just want you to have AUD USD entered here. It's just going to be a quick way for us to, study the AUD USD. It's just a shortcut that I want you to add. So just add AUD USD here. Make sure it's listed here. If it's dropped down here, just left click and drag it to the top and make sure AUD USD is set there. Okay, so the next thing is right here. This little floating bar is our drawing tools. It's actually our favorite drawing tools, like a favorite bar. And how do we create this favorite bar? So let's start on the left side here. So I'm going to tell you which items to favorite. So I want you to watch this video once, and then I want you to just slowly go through this video, pause it, do what I told you to do, and then unpause it and continue, and then pause it again, do what I told you to do. So I just want you to use it as a step-by-step guide to setting up your chart. So we're gonna set our favorite bar now. So let's start over here. Default, right now, see my cursor here? This is called a crosshair. If you don't have a crosshair, just go here and click on cross. We don't need to favorite that. I think it's default, but we always use this crosshair tool, right? So make sure that's on. So see right here, there's a little arrow button here. We're not going to favorite any one of these. I want you to go to this next one here, and I want you to favorite, if you haven't already done this, I want you to favorite trend lines, horizontal line, horizontal ray. We sometimes use that. Arrow, parallel channel, and just take a second. I want you to favorite all these. When you favorite them, they'll start populating in this bar here. When you start adding things to here, say if you want to reorganize them, just with your mouse, just hover over the one that you want to move. You just click with your mouse button, the left mouse button, and hold it, and then you can drag them to any position you want. So let's favorite all these items. So make sure you have all of these favorited. Once you've done that, then I want you to go to the next one. We're gonna favorite Fibonacci retracement and fib channels. For this one, rectangles, the ellipse tool. You can play around with all of these, but right now just focus on favoriting the ones that we're going to be learning in the future. This item here, the text tool, we always write little notes on our charts. If you want to use arrows and stuff like that, you can add anything you want to your favorite, but make sure you have the text favorited. So when you click on this little star, you can see on the right here, see now I don't have the little text tool. If I favorite it, it just added the T, text. So that's just how you that's how you create your favorite bar. Let's see if we have anything here. Head and shoulders, you can favorite that one. The long and short position tool, that's what I already showed you. We're going to be using that a lot in the future, so have those as your favorite. The date and price range tool, I've had that as a favorite too. This guy here is just, you can add some characters on your chart if you want to. There's a measuring tool here. I guess you can measure, this is not a setting a favorite, but you can use this to measure, how many bars. We'll learn about that a little bit in the later. This is a zoom tool. So say somewhere on your chart you want to zoom in. So you just click that once with your left mouse button, and then you want to use your mouse and left click and hold, and then drag, and then let go, and it just zooms in on that particular location that you highlighted. So there's the zoom in and zoom out. So next is this magnet tool, right? What is this magnet tool? So I'm going to move this favorite to the bottom here. So when you're drawing, say, a trend line, and I'll show you how to do this in a bit. If you have the magnet on, you can go strong magnet. See how it's jumping? It's jumping to specific points on the candle. When we're doing chart analysis, it's very important that when we draw a line to this wick here, that it actually goes to that wick. We don't want to just draw things that are like, pretty close. Chart analysis is about accuracy. So if you have this tool on, you can try it. You can try the weak magnet. It's just how strong it jumps to these tools. And if you have it turned off, then it's more like freehand. Like, see how I can draw it away from this wick here, but if I had the magnet tool on, it would snap to it. It snaps precisely on that point, and it's kind of a cool tool to use. I normally, I have it turned off because I naturally just make sure that it's touching the line, but turn it on, play around with it. Once you start moving around with your mouse, you'll understand what the magnet tool is. It's easy to learn, just have to try it. So for now, just leave that off. During your training, you can practice on your own. This button I don't really use. It's just about drawing on your chart. We don't have to worry about that right now. Lock, so this lock button. So say you have a bunch of things drawn on your chart, and you don't want to accidentally move them, you can actually hit lock here, and it'll lock all these lines and drawings, like all the drawing tools you have in your chart. It'll lock it so you don't so when you're trying to move around your charts, you don't actually accidentally move them. You can unlock it there. You could also, this little eye here is to hide drawing tools. So say you have a bunch of things marked on your chart, and you're just like, I just want to look at the candlesticks. I want to, for a minute here, I want all these things to disappear, where you can just go hit hide, and it actually hides all the drawing tools, and you can kind of just focus on, examining the individual candles. And then once you unhide it, it comes back. Or if you draw something else on your chart, it'll just snap back and it'll show up on your chart. So you have this hide tool. And then the garbage can, like I showed you, it just deletes everything off your charts. Okay, so the next thing, in the coming chapters, we're going to talk about, trend lines. We're going to talk about, this is Fibonacci retracement. These are all tools that I'm going to teach you, and this is what chart analysis is about. It's about coming up with multiple reasons to buy and sell, and how we do that is by marking up the charts using these various tools. But what I want to teach you right now is that each one of these tools, it has the same settings. So what I teach you right now will apply to any one of these tools. So once you draw, I'll teach you how to draw a trend line here. So you just click on trend line, and then you click once on your chart with your left mouse, and then I'm not holding my mouse button, so I just clicked once, I draw this line, and then I click again, and it pastes the second point on the chart. So see when you click on the line, it brings up this little menu bar here. You can also double click on the line, and it'll bring up some similar settings. So you can change like the color of the line. You can make the line dashed or dotted. Right now, just leave it solid. You can change the thickness. Here's where you change the thickness. Like I said, color. And then also, I want you to, you can play around with all of these. Take your time, learn. This just extends the line far right or the far left. Like, you can play around with all this, but the main thing I do in here is I change the color. You can also add text to any one of these tools. If they have a text section here, you can add like, trend line, and it'll draw it here. See how it says trend line now? You can put like little notes. Say if, for example, when we're drawing support and resistance lines, when, for example, here, say this is a monthly support line, you can also hit this little gearbox. So either you can double click it, or you can hit this gearbox, and you can type in, see we're under text, you can type in monthly support, have it at the bottom left. You can also change the color of it. Let's just put it to black. So I'm going to teach you about trend lines and stuff, but right now I just want you to play around with these settings, right? So I want you to, you can move it around here. You also commonly use is this lock button. See how it lock it? So say if you want to lock an individual line, see now I can't move it unless you unlock it. That's a common thing I use. So common thing is I use the lock. I also, write in some sort of text to label it. You can make it bold. You can, increase the size of the text, whatever you want to do, right? And then hit OK. So I'm also going to teach you this in the next chapter is, say you've decided on, this horizontal line, for example, you like this color, you like, that it's solid, you like the thickness, and you want to save a template. So you just go here where it says template, and you go save as, and you can name it like monthly, right? Monthly support and resistance, right? You can hit save, and then after, when you draw a new line, so I'm just going to delete this, and again, this information, pertains to any one of these lines or any one of these tools. They all have the same settings, right? So say I drew a line here, and this is a monthly support. I can quickly come here and just go to monthly, and here, right? It automatically added my label. It's because I saved this template. So I want you to practice just saving templates, modifying the text. Visibility is another one. Visibility is, make sure they're all checked, and then it has this sliding bar here. Make sure it's all maximized. What this does is, say, this just telling this line, I want this line visible on all the different time frames. So see the time frames up here? So say if I wanted to, right now it's set for showing up on all time frames. So if right now on the monthly, look, I switched to the weekly, I still have this line showing here. But say if I checked off weekly, see how the line disappeared? But if I go back to monthly, that line still is shown under the monthly. But if I go to the weekly time frame, it's disappeared. So make sure when you're initially starting, make sure this is all checked and all these lines are maximized, because when we're learning, when we're starting, we want our lines to show up on all charts, right? All time frames. Later, when we want to hide them for specific reasons, this is how you can do it. You just come in and deselect which chart you don't want it on. So again, the main thing is, you can change the colors here. So you don't need to double click on it. You can just click on it once, right? Click on it once. You can change the color from here. You can change the thickness. You can make it dotted, whatever you want. Alert. You can also, we'll talk about this later, but alert. So say if price was coming up, you can set an alert depending on your account type. you can set alert, say AUD USD crossing the horizontal line. It'll give you a notification to your phone. You can set a date and how long you want this alert to happen. So say if you're watching, and then hit create. So say if you're watching price and you're like, I want to know when price comes and hits this level here. Well, if you set, if you click on it and set alert, you can set an alert and you'll get either like a notification to your phone or it'll pop up on your screen. It depends on your account type. If you have a Pro Plus account, you have that feature. You can set alerts as well. So let me see here. What else do I want to show you here? So clone and copy. So say if you go copy, then you can just, right click on your chart and go paste. It's just a quick way of, copying, pasting. If you guys, some of you may know, you can also click on it and on your keyboard, you can go Control C, it'll copy, then Control V to paste. That's a quick way to, it's another good thing you want to do is know how to copy and paste. What else can I tell you about this line here? So visual order. So say this is just, if you have some, like maybe you want your candle, see how this candle is in the back, you can just send this line to the front or back. You can play around with it. It's just whether you want this line to show up on the top of the surface or behind the candles. That's all that is. We already talked about cloning. If you hit clone, it just automatically makes a copy of it and pastes it for you. Lock, we already talked about. It just locks it from moving. You can hide it. If you hide something and you accidentally hit it, know that up here there's a undo button and redo button. So know that there's an undo redo button there. But say you hit it accidentally, I want you to right click on your chart and there's something called object tree. Object tree, it actually lists all the different, they call these elements. So all the different tools you've added to your chart are also listed here. So you can unhide things, you can delete lines, you can hide lines. So just remember that when you right click, you can go to object tree and it shows you everything that's on your charts. And we can just close that for now. So what else is there here? So there's, and then there's a delete, and there's a remove button here. So that's pretty simple. So whether you're drawing, a circle, an ellipse is a circle, same thing, the same thing. You can change the colors. You have all these settings, and you can save the template, right? Save, give it a name, hit save, and then later when you draw certain things repetitively, or you want to, quickly load, load some sort of setting, you can just, like green arrow. I have green arrows. Sometimes I use green arrows. I don't want to have to manually change all these settings. I can just save a template, call it green arrow, and then here now I can switch to red arrow. So that's pretty much all the settings. All of these tools have the same settings. I want you to play around with that and just get to know how to just draw these tools and save the settings, and you'll learn it really quickly. It's not too hard. So that's what I wanted to tell you about that. Okay, let's move this to the bottom here. And let's talk about the top bars here. So we already talked about, your currency pair here. That's what when you hear people talk about currency pair, that means because there's Australian dollar versus the US dollar, there's two currency pairs here. That's why it's a pair. Pair means two. So currency pair. And then all these time frames here, right? Time frames. I want you to go right here, see where there's a little drop down arrow. So depending on your account type, if you can't add all of these, the main ones I want you to favorite are the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 30 minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hours, the daily, weekly, and monthly. So those are the ones I want you to favorite. So we'll do that one more time. So the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 30 minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, weekly, and then monthly. So weekly, monthly. So those are the main ones, the main time frames. I've added more different ones. I like to look at various time frames, but that depends on your account type. If you don't see something listed here, you can always go down here and you can type in whatever time frame you want, really. You can type in 20 minutes and hit add, and it'll add it to here. But again, the main time frames, we want to have the main time frames here: the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly. Have those ones favorited. Those are your main ones. Okay, so here we're going to be using two types of charts. The main ones we use are candles. I want you to favorite that one, and I want you to favorite line chart. So see here, these are candlesticks. So we use candlesticks when we're doing chart analysis, but when we're drawing in support and resistance, we're going to toggle to line chart. And I'm going to teach you how to find support and resistance the proper way later, but we want to be able to toggle between line chart, which is what you see here, and then candlesticks. And I want it to be favorited up here. So just click on this little arrow and select candles and line chart. That's all I want you to do for that one. Compare symbols, you can add, I'm going to teach you later about this, but for example, the dollar index, US dollar index, the sign for it is DXY. And you can, overlay different charts for different currencies. So I'm going to change this to candles. So this is actually, we're looking at the Australian dollar versus the dollar index, and that's getting a little advanced, and I don't really want to talk about that right now, but you can just come up here and delete that from your chart. So sometimes when you add things to your chart, you're going to get a little menu here. You can always just play around here. So when I added when I added the DXY here, just know that when you add items to your chart, you also get a drop down menu here. Some of you, like I was saying, some of you might have volume bars on the bottom here. We're not going to be looking at these volume bars right now. So if you see volume here, you can just hit X, just like I removed the DXY chart. So just know that when you have little items here, you can just hit the X and delete them. So I want you to have a nice clear chart like this. If you have some bars at the bottom here, you can just go up here and hit the X and delete it. Okay, what else up here? Indicators, we're going to talk about adding indicators later. This is how you add, we're going to add moving averages to our charts. This little line here is what we call moving average. You can see here it added that little item here. We can hide it, we can show it, and we can also go into the settings. Later on, I'm going to teach you about moving averages, but all I want you to do right now is know how to delete them, and that's how you add indicators. This one here, fundamental, we're not going to really work with this very much at all. Indicators, templates. So once you add, for example, once we add, where's moving average? So once we add a moving average, you can actually come here and, save template as. You can say, moving average, and you can hit save. And then, later when you load a chart, you can just come here and you can pick your particular saved template. That just has to do with the indicators here, but I'm going to teach you about that a little later. We don't have to worry about that right now. Here's the alert button. You can click on that. That's a way to set alerts. like I said, if you have like a horizontal line, we can, set a alert. There's many ways you can set alerts. You can actually click on the line. You can actually click on this alert button here, set your parameters. Also on the right side here, there's an alert. These were all your previous alerts, and you can, click on create new alert. And replay bar tool. I'm gonna have a lesson on this, but it's, this replay bar is actually a cool tool. It's when you want to, say you're practicing and you want to practice your chart analysis, you can hit this replay tool. It'll make this red line, and if I click right here, it'll delete all the lines, all the candlesticks previously, and then you can hit, it brings up this little bar menu here, and you can adjust the speed, and you can hit play, and it'll start slowly drawing candles one by one. Let me just increase the speed. You can see now it's drawing the candles. So this is kind of a tool people use to test their chart analysis. So say you've marked up and you think that price is going to fall, you can use this. It's called bar replay to test your analysis by just you click on it, click here. I'm gonna have a lesson on this, but that's just the bar replay tool. You can test it out. This button right here, you can jump to a different time. It's just a cool tool to use to test your analysis, and we'll talk about that more later. I just want to exit. And then you already know about this tool. I already told you the redo and undo tool. It's just if you make a mistake, say if you draw something and you want to, you accidentally deleted it, you can just go undo, redo. Pretty simple. You guys know how that works. One other thing I wanted to quickly show you is when you draw, say you start drawing something. So say I started drawing something and I was like, oh no, actually I don't want to draw that. You can just right click on your mouse, right click, and it'll just cancel it out. So see how I'm clicking with my left mouse button now, and I clicked with my left mouse button once, and if I click again on my left mouse button, it'll print it. But say if I started drawing something and I decided to cancel, you can just click with your right mouse button and it'll just cancel what you were drawing there. Okay, so we've went over the left menu bar here. We've went over the right menu bar here. Now let's look at the right side. Oh, actually, we have a few more up here. So this is our chart. We have a chart name. It also, if you click on this little down arrow, I want you to make sure it says auto save. So every 5 minutes, it'll auto save any modifications you made on your chart. You can also click save now. I want you to rename your chart. So you can just rename this and type, Forex chart, right? Whatever you want to name it, or you can put my first chart or whatever you want to name it. It just renames this chart here. Depending on your account type, you can have multiple charts. So you can go new chart layout. It might give you this warning. See, I'm on the Pro Plus plan. It gives me 10 chart layouts. You can see here if you go load chart layout. So you can see I have multiple charts open. I have one chart that's for my detailed markups, and then one chart I just have for looking at moving averages. So if I just want to have a nice clean chart, this one's a little bit messy right now, but it's just a way to separate your chart. So if your plan allows it, if you sign up for a Pro or Pro Plus account, you should be able to at least save 2 charts or more. So you can just have I want you to have one chart that you use for just, playing around with. But once you get serious about, in the coming training modules, we're going to start marking up our charts, and we're going to leave the information on our chart. So we don't want to keep deleting it. So I want you to have one chart just for marking up. And then I want you to try to go to new chart. I already have maximum, but you'll just it'll open up a new chart. You can rename it. Say you can write master Forex chart. So that would be like your chart that you don't play around with. That's the one you're going to use for chart analysis. Once we start drawing support and resistance lines, we don't really want to mess around with that chart that we spent a lot of time marking up. And so we'll have one chart just for learning and marking up and deleting and playing around with, and then we'll have a second chart for our detailed saved charts that we don't want to mess around with, right? Because we spend a lot of time to make these charts accurate. We don't want to accidentally mess them up or delete them. So it's always good to make a second chart. If you've done some work and you want to just make a copy, you can also click on make a copy. It'll just, if you go to load layout, you'll just keep adding layouts here that you can click on, and you can rename them, and there'll be a maximum number of layouts you can have. Okay, so we've went over this little gear icon is, again, we've already talked about this. You can change how the chart looks. The main thing is show economic events. That just shows news, upcoming news. Make sure you have show only future events selected. You can sometimes uncheck this and it'll show you, events that have already happened. Like for example, let me go to the 4-hour chart here. You can see we have upcoming news coming up. If I right click on our chart, go settings, and go to events. If I uncheck only show future events, now it's actually showing us, if I go to say the lower time frame, if I go to the 5-minute chart, it'll show us that, hey, past events. So this was a news release happened at this point right here. This news event could have caused price to increase. Sometimes we trade news events. I'm going to teach you how to trade news, and just, we're going to cover that. But what I want you to know right now is just, that setting there. Either we can hide past events that have happened, and normally we want to hide them. But if we want to, take a look at, why price might have moved the way it moved, it could have been because of some news release. So sometimes we want to turn that on. And then there's another one. There's the event break. So that just makes a vertical line at the news. So it's a little easier to read exactly when the news release happened. But I don't want you to add all these on your charts, like this event breaks, because the goal of the training is to keep your charts nice and clean and not messy. Because when your charts are messy, it takes away from being able to analyze. So we want to keep our charts nice and clean. And the other one I want you to just be aware of for the future, under appearance here, under appearance, there's something called session breaks. So if we're on, I believe it's if we're on the daily chart or lower, just make sure you're not, if you're on the weekly and monthly, you won't see it, but let me just jump to daily. So yeah, it doesn't show it on the daily. So if you go to 4 hours, so see when we have this session breaks, see how it's cluttering up our charts? That's why I don't really want it showing on our charts, but I'll just quickly go to the 5-minute chart. What this session breaks is telling us is that the only reason we can trade the currency markets 24 hours a day is, except on, it closes, the markets are only closed Saturday evening to Sunday evening, right? The only reason they're closed for such a short period of time is because there's markets all over the world. So when the United States market shuts down, we have Australia or the Chinese session start up. So these event breaks actually shows us when one session is ending and a new session is beginning. So this is where, say, the US day trading ends and a different session starts. And I'm going to go into future lessons. I'm going to tell you, which markets are happening at what time, but I just want you to know there's this option here, and it's under settings, under appearance, session breaks. For now, let's just leave it turned off, but this you can toggle on and off. It actually happens every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. You'll see that sometimes you'll get a gap in price there, or that's usually when the market also starts slowing down. A lot of traders start closing their trades. Some people only trade during the day, so they'll close their trade right before the session ends. So just keep an eye out for this. Every day at 2 p.m. Pacific, that's when this vertical line is. That's when the market's closed for a short period of time as they switch to a new session. Okay, so this other button up top right here is just a full screen button. You can obviously know what that is. You can hit escape. It'll exit that. This is a very important button here, the camera icon. When you click on it, it'll create a screenshot of your current chart. So when you join the student group, so after this lesson, actually, you're gonna be brought to a part in the training where you'll have a link to join the private student group. This is not the public group, so maybe you found my public group on Facebook. That public group is not for students. In the next module, you'll see a link to the private student group. You must have TradingView to enter that group. If you click on this little camera icon and copy it, it's a link. So it's like a web link you can post in Facebook or even in a web browser. So I'm going to post in the web browser. When you join the private student group, there'll be a link in the next module, but you'll be directed to join the private student group. You must enter your TradingView username right here, CryptoSad. That's your TradingView username. I'm going to have my staff, they actually verify that you have a TradingView account before you're allowed into the private student group, because I want everyone to be focused on learning chart analysis. So only people that have TradingView that are dedicated to learning this skill are allowed to enter the student group. And I highly suggest you join the student group, because each lesson from after this lesson, you're going to start module 2. From each lesson, I want you to master that one skill before moving forward. And how do you master it? Is by marking up the charts, and then what you learned in that chapter, then go to this little camera icon, copy the link, and then go to Facebook. And everyone knows how to create a Facebook post in the group. Just paste your chart link, and then in the group you will be able to see your markup. And I'll come in, look at it, and other students will come look at it, and they're going to help you. They'll critique it. They'll tell you what you're doing good or what you need some work on. We're a big family, and the goal is to accelerate your learning. And trust me, the only way to learn quickly is by sharing your charts, posting what you just learned, getting feedback, and correcting your mistakes or confirming that you did it correctly. You're not necessarily going to make mistakes, but we all make mistakes. But the only way to learn is by not being afraid to post your charts and just make your mistakes, get them out of the way, and learn quickly. So this is a very important button, the camera icon, because I can't wait to see your charts, okay? And then there's the publish button. You can publish your charts, on TradingView. We don't really care about that. You can also, there's a little record video idea. So once you learn chart analysis, in the future, you can publish your own charts. You'll be your own trader. You won't need me. It'll just be you and the charts, and you'll be an independent trader. That's the goal of this group. And you can publish your charts, and maybe one day you'll have your own following because you'll be this professional trader, right? So that is the goal. Okay, so let's quickly look at this right side column here. So this little, we already talked about this. This is Market Watch. You can add shortcuts to different currency pairs like, GBP, USD. That's the Great British Pound versus the US dollar. You can, these are the different data sources or brokers. You can just click on it and it'll add it to this little watch list. In the future, once you learn chart analysis, you'll be following various pairs. Maybe you'll be trading, gold or cryptocurrencies. The possibilities are endless, but right now we're going to focus on AUD USD. We're going to study only AUD USD in the student group. The student group is for you to master chart analysis. And once you master chart analysis, then you can trade anything you want, right? At that point, you will be an independent trader. You can do whatever you want. This is here. This is the alert shortcut. You can create a new alert here. We'll talk about creating alerts later. This tool works okay. It's pretty, sometimes it can be beneficial, but I'm going to teach you other ways and better alert systems in the future. This one here is news. So when there's when there's news release happening, let me go to the 1 hour. So say there's upcoming news events here, you can click on this little news tab and you can, read about the news that's coming out, the Australian dollar, the US dollar, what affects price movement. Like this is part of something called fundamental analysis. So there's two types of two components to trading. There's technical analysis where we mark up the charts, and then there's fundamental analysis, which has to do with news release and the banks and interest rates and stuff like that. I'm going to have a chapter on fundamental analysis, so you don't really need to worry about it right now. Just know that there's a news button here. Data window, you can ignore this. Hot list, this is just pairs that are doing good, doing bad. It's just like another shortcut list. I don't really use it. Calendars, this is economic events. So the economic events you have listed down here, you can actually read more about it here. You can click on it. It'll tell you what some information about this news release. I'm going to have a whole chapter on fundamental analysis, and we'll learn more about that later. My ideas, these are just things that you've posted later when you publish your own charts. It's just a shortcut. Public chats, I don't really chat with anyone. Private chats, idea streams. So these are just ideas other people are posting. I suggest not really looking at other people's ideas until you learn chart analysis yourself. Notifications, I don't know, I don't have any notifications. And these two, you can place trades on TradingView. There's only limited brokers that you can use to trade directly off TradingView. Majority of the people do their markups on TradingView and then place trades on their particular broker. Everyone uses MetaTrader 4, so every broker uses MetaTrader 4. So we won't be placing trades through TradingView. We just do our markups here, and then we place our trades using the broker's software, which is MetaTrader 4. And that's it for the right side menu. This is a shortcut right here for object tree. Remember what I told you? You can, when you draw a bunch of lines and things like this, all the items are listed under object tree. So you can come here, delete them, hide them, lock them. It's just a quick way of looking at all the items that are on your chart. Okay, the other next item is there's a little question mark tool here. This is a good tool. There's my support ticket. So when you have problems, you can go, you can open up a ticket. So if you have a problem, say sometimes you have some glitch on your chart, you can just click on chart. It'll have some, some questions here. Maybe you'll have some articles you can read. But if you still can't find the answer, you can just click right here, still need help. And then you can type in what your problem is. You can attach a screenshot and then open up a support ticket. So this is a good feature when you have problems, and then your open tickets will be under here. So whenever you have any sort of issue or you can't figure out something and you can't find any answers in the literature that they have, just open up a new support ticket, and TradingView, they're really good. They'll answer you pretty quickly. They usually answer within 24 hours, and it'll be under my support ticket. The top left here, you also have, the same kind of shortcuts. It's got the help center. That's the same thing we just looked at. You have the question mark down here for help. You also have it under here. And then this stuff here, you can play around with it. Keyboard shortcuts is a good one. Charting, so these are all the keyboard shortcuts, so you can read through them, you can try them out. I'm going to walk through a couple of them right now, but yeah, just no keyboard shortcuts. One thing, a particular one I like using is the control and scroll button. So I'll probably talk about how to manipulate the charts next. So, okay, so we've talked about the left side, the top side, the right side, and now let's talk about the bottom side. We're almost finished here. Okay, so here, this is just, what time zone are you in? So it's probably standard. It's looking at London time. I like to set it to my own time. So I'm in Vancouver, so I would just find Vancouver. Where's Vancouver? I think it's +7. Where's +7? Vancouver here, UTC 7. So if you set it to your own home time, then this bottom bar, it'll be for your own time zone. So like I said, the market closes every day for me at 2 p.m. Pacific. So that's when you'll see, things slowing down around 2 p.m. Pacific. So if you set this to your own time zone, it'll help you understand when the markets are opening or closing. That's all really I want to tell you about that one. Here, this is just, I don't really use this year to date. I guess this just, modifies the, how much you're viewing here. I don't really use this, so you can ignore this. I just use the time frame numbers up here. We just hit reset on the chart right now and just get it back to a normal view. And then there's this bar at the bottom here, Forex screener. So you can, if this is ever, you can slide it up and down. Sometimes, if you hit one of these, it'll pop open this and you're like, how the heck do I get rid of it? There's a little minimize button here, so you can just minimize it. And then you can also drag it up if you want. Forex screener is really the only tool we use here. This is more for like coding. Coders use this section here. But Forex screener, you can, there's Forex screener, there's stock screener, and crypto screener. So it just, you can click on performance and it'll just show you what's performing. It's just some more data. You can read, but mostly we'll use Forex screener. You can go, performing, and, Australian dollar right now, it's showing you that, how much has changed, percent changed. You can go to overview. It'll say that, mostly people, are selling it right now. It's in more of a sell condition. I don't really use this too much, but this is an option, just part of TradingView. So just minimize that. If it ever pops up, just minimize that. And then just have this on auto. And when you reset the chart, it goes to auto anyways. And that's it. So we've covered the left panel, the top panel, the right panel, and the bottom panel. Okay, so let's just quickly talk about how to manipulate the charts. Manipulate the charts. So right here, how I'm moving this right here, this is using the wheel mouse. So you can use your wheel mouse. I suggest getting a wheel mouse because it's great for manipulating the charts. You can also, with your mouse, click the left key and hold, and you can slide the chart left and right. But here, see, now I'm clicking with my left mouse button, and I'm trying to move the chart upwards, and it's not moving. I can't move it. There's a little trick. For some reason, this is how TradingView, or this is how MetaTrader 4 is as well. You can adjust this vertical axis, and same thing here. So once you move this, if you move your mouse here and you just left click and hold, once you adjust this even a touch, then you can move the chart up and down and left and right. But let's just hit reset on the chart. And see, now I'm left clicking with my mouse and trying to move up and down. I can't move it. But if I just use my mouse and left click and hold and just drag it up and down a little bit, now I can move it. This is for adjusting, like say if you want to, you want to really get in detail, you want to just stretch your chart. So use this. So now I'm using the wheel mouse here, and I'm also stretching my chart here. So say if you really want to like zoom in, and say if you're drawing like a trend line, I'm going to teach you later, right? You want to make sure it touches this point and this point here, and touch this point here. So you really want to like zoom in, stretch your chart. So that's why learning to manipulate your chart is very important, because when we're drawing stuff, we want to really like zoom in, and this is with the scroll mouse. You also have this control in the bottom here. I never use it because I have a scroll mouse. So you can have a plus and minus, and then you can move the chart left and right. What is this? There's a redo button. I didn't even know there's a redo button there. But yeah, so there's the scroll mouse. And then the other thing I want to show you is here. So I'm using the scroll mouse here, but see how the scroll mouse just kind of shrinks everything or expands everything. But say if I wanted to zoom in right here, you can, on your keyboard, the bottom left of your keyboard, there's a control key. So if you hit control and hold the control key down, and now scroll with your scroll mouse, see how it's zooming in just where my mouse is. So I'm going to move my mouse over here, and now I'm using the scroll mouse with the control key pushed down. It only zooms in right there. So I let go of the control key, and now it's kind of moving the whole chart. But if I hold down the control key, it zooms in on one spot. So if you're using a Mac, I believe it's the command key. So if you hold down the command key, and on a PC, it's a control key plus your scroll mouse. And then to move the charts left and right, you just left click and hold, move it left and right. Again, if you can't move it up and down, you have to adjust this vertical axis here. And again, let's go back to those keyboard shortcuts. So keyboard shortcuts right here, charts. So somewhere in here, that's how I learned how to use that control and wheel mouse right here. Focus, zoom, control and wheel mouse. So if you ever want to learn some shortcuts, I may have not even tried all of this. I'm going to actually review it later. You kind of want to test it out. Maybe some shortcuts you like, I don't know, but one main one I love using is the control and wheel mouse. It really helps me zoom in and look at specific things on my chart. You also have that, like I said, on the left here, you have that zoom in tool. You can zoom in and then hold the control key down and zoom in. And that's more for when you're drawing things, and you're going to learn how to draw specific tools and use specific tools in the coming chapters. So we're almost finished. I know this has been a long lesson. So now we've learned how to manipulate the charts. Okay, so I want you to now, that's pretty much it. I want you to, when you've relaxed a bit, come back to this, play this video again. I want you to just practice drawing all these tools. I want you to use the trend line tool. And right now you don't know exactly, what you have to do with the trend line, but I just want you to learn how to just draw the tool. I want you to use that tool. I want you to use this this horizontal line tool. I want you to be able to move it around. I want you to be able to lock it. I want you to just know how to use all these buttons and features that we talked about. This little tool here, this is a channel tool, right? I want you to play around with this channel tool, and we're going to talk about this later, but I want you just to, delete everything, and then one by one, just use all these tools and just kind of get familiar with how to use them, how to draw them on your chart. You can double click it, you can see what extending it right does. So normally I want you to have these off, just so you can just draw this is how you draw a channel. And then, I just want you to go in the settings and just, like we talked about, just play around with it, use the delete key, use the copy, learn how to copy. You can copy with using this, or you can clone it, or you can just click on it once, and with your keyboard shortcuts, you can go Control C to copy, Control V to paste. So like right now, I'm pasting using the Control V. So that's just another shortcut. And say you want to delete all these things, then I can go just to use my delete button here on the left here. So everything we learned today, I just want you to just when you have some time, go through it, draw the arrow tool, save a template. I want you just to do this. And then once you're familiar with all that, I want you just to, practice drawing some, support lines. Say this is support. I want to label this support. We're going to talk about what the heck a support line is and how to find it in the next chapter, but just lock it, use the arrow tool, say, hey, that's a resistance area. It shouldn't have labeled it support. That's actually resistance. And, you can just play around with it. Say right now, say, price is right here. Say if you just wanted to, you're like, okay, price is, let me unlock it. Say price is here, you think price is going to fall. Just for the heck of it, I want you to go to, look, our take profit is about to hit. So say you said, hey, I see price came up to this this resistance line. Let me change this to resistance. Whoops. So price came up to this resistance line. You're like, I think price is going to drop down. And we're going to talk about this in a later chapter, how to, I don't like using the word predict. It's more about making an educated decision based on chart analysis. But say right now, your limited understanding of chart analysis, you say, hey, I see price came up to this line here. It looks like it's dropping. I'm going to place a sell. And look, we placed a sell earlier. And look, price, see how take profit is highlighted? This is telling us, hey, price is about to hit our take profit. Isn't that exciting? Right now, we placed a sell. We started working on, reviewing our chart analysis. And then in the meantime, price has dropped to the point where we're almost about to hit our take profit. I love it. This game is, I shouldn't call it a game, but it feels like a game. It feels like an amazing game that has the potential to make me a lot of income, and it has. And I'm excited that you're about to start this journey on your own. You're not going to be on your own. You're going to be learning with a great community of traders just like you. But once you learn this skill, you will be on your own. You will be an independent trader. You will need no one else's help. You will make decisions based on your chart analysis that you're going to learn on TradingView. In the next 30 days, I'm going to take you from a beginner to an absolute professional who is obsessed with this new skill you've learned. And in the next 1 to 2 months, you're going to go from a beginner to someone that has learned a new skill. And I guarantee you, you will trade until your last days. I will trade until my very last days. So that's pretty much it. I want you to just hit this little X once you're done playing around, and once you're finished playing with all these tools and learning to get familiar with these tools. I just want you to hit the X here. When you start the next module, make sure you join the private student group. It's very important. Make sure you answer the questions to join the group. One will be an email, one will be your TradingView username, and those are the main ones. But watch, there'll be a video in the next module It'll talk about how to properly join the student group, because I only let specific people into my group, and those are the people who have answered all the questions properly. You need a TradingView account. Like I said, use the student link during the 30-day free period. They will give you an offer. TradingView will offer you, after 1 week, they'll start giving you an offer. Sometimes it's 20% discount, sometimes it's 30% discount. They always periodically give different offers. Sometimes it's even 40% discount. So whatever offer they give you, usually hopefully 30 to 40%, depends on what offer they give you at that time. But like I said, if you already have a TradingView account, get rid of that one. Use a different web browser or use a mobile. You click on the student link, create a new account. They only offer the new students this discount. So make sure you get TradingView. Sign up for the Pro Plus 30-day free trial. Start practicing what we learned today. And in the next module, we're going to get into the detailed training, and you're going to learn with a big student group, and it's going to accelerate your learning. And I'm really excited to see your first chart in the student group. Have fun. I'm happy you joined this family, and we're going to know each other for a really long time, and we're going to be like family. We are family now. Welcome to the family, the Forex life.